Hello, everyone. My guest today is Tiffany Crosara, and Tiffany is not the first time guest on my videos. Specifically today, we will be talking about Tiffany's appearance at Magical Creators Abundance Accelerator Bootcamp. And this will be Tiffany's first appearance at Magical Creators Live. So I'm really looking forward a little bit pre-history to Tiffany's talk before Tiffany shares information about herself. When I saw the title of Tiffany's talk, I was puzzled. Okay, I could recognize the word abundance. I could read the description. Everything else was Greek to me, seriously. Luckily, I know Tiffany well and I knew it's going to be good, but I wanted to do this particular interview today to find out more what Tiffany is going to talk about. So,
That's the story of my life.
Tiffany's talk is called How to Allow Abundance, See Where You Need to Be, and How to Get There with the IBA Index. And I have no clue what that index is about.
Okay, all right. So I will start with who I am, and then I will try and talk about the IBA index without giving it all away.
Yeah,
That's going to be a challenge.
yeah, you don't need to reveal because we want it, but just give us some insight. What can we expect?
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Tiffany Crosara, and I work with intuitives that have lost themselves in others, situations, or a tarot deck, because I've done all three in the past. And I help you to come back into yourself in a bit of a quirky way. So what Inga was just saying about everything being Greek, and I said, oh, that's the story of my life. But the quirky way is through tarot. So tarot still is very much part of my life, but it's completely different, really, to any way that you probably know tarot to be. And so my brand is the Transformational Truth of Tarot in terms of my book and my game that you might see behind me. It's also a system that I take people through, but I have changed the name from what was the Transformational Truth of Tarot, because again, people weren't really getting it, to Manifest a Miracle a Month, because that's really the outcome, whereas the tarot is the vehicle to get you there. So I run 3 groups. I have a free Manifest a Miracle a Month group, I have a membership, and I have a mastermind. And it's really interesting that I'm doing this IBA index with Inga, actually, because Inga was actually at the talk where this came through. So when I actually published my second book, which is kind of hidden a little bit behind the plant here, which is The Transformational Truth of You, I had book launch at Watkins, and I had this horrific moment. It's kind of like why that one is still hidden. And this is like 7 years later after publication. I had this horrific moment of realizing that I had published my vulnerability in black and white. And actually, my best known book is The Transformational Truth of Tarot, because I feel not so vulnerable promoting that. But when people read The Transformational Truth of You, they're like, oh my God, I laughed, I cried, and I loved it even more. And it's like what Brené Brown says, isn't it? That the last thing we want to see in ourselves is vulnerability, but it's the first thing people want to see in you anyway. My vulnerability was printed in black and white, and I just thought, oh my God, I've got this book launch at Watkins where, you know, all the big names have their big talks, Eckhart Tolle and Teal Swan and, you know, Byron Katie. And there was little old me with this book that on the way up, I just had this horrific realization that I couldn't read from it, because it's one thing having it put in black and white and sent out anonymously, but when you're actually owning it and reading from it at the stage, it's a little bit different. And so I had this like meltdown, and I asked my guides, I was like, help, Like, I can't do this. What am I to do? And they said that the main message in the book was around alignment to your creativity and your purpose. And they gave me what I call the IBA index. And I thought it was very smart of them. And honestly, it was just like this download. So the IBA index is, if you think of the BMI index, yes, so the body mass index, and it's a measurement for your health, yes. And this is what the IBA index is. It's a measurement for your manifesting health. So the I stands for a measure on your imagination. The B stands for a measurement on your belief. And the A stands for a measurement on your allowance. And what it does is, what I'll do is I'll lead you through a time in your past where you manifested something that you wanted to manifest, and we get the scores on your imagination, belief, and allowance. And then I'll take you through a time when you wanted to manifest something, but it didn't manifest. And we get the scores from there. And then I'll take you through something you want to manifest now, and we'll get the scores for your IBA on there. And then you'll be able to see the gap between the thing that didn't manifest, the thing that did manifest, and where you are now. And are you on track? And if not, we'll look at like how you can start to close that gap. I think it's a very powerful technique, and I was very impressed with them for downloading it to me that evening. You were there, Inga.
I don't remember, to be honest. Full disclosure, don't remember. But I'm listening now, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is so powerful. I don't know where I was back then, but this is amazing. But I have a follow-up question. So, with BMI index, if you are above certain, right, it means that you need to, let's say, lose weight in order to get within the normal range. What is the practicality of when we get understanding of our imagination, belief, IBA, right? So when we know where we are, what's the practical application of that?
Okay, so I may go in more depth here because you've spoken about the BMI index and how there's a group range, isn't there? It's like if you're this old or this height, or think that's your BMI, or you're this gender, or things like that. The BMI index is totally unique to you, and it's unique to that score where you manifested. So that's what we're aiming for in your manifesting health. We think of a time that was really easy, where it really flowed, where it just happened.
Corresponding measurement is your own. It's unique. It's not an average, right?
That's right.
And so during that session with you, we will find our unique measurement system.
That's right.
And we can use it in the future when we are thinking about manifesting something. We do the measurement and we compare with our unique optimum measurement, right?
That's right. Yes.
I'm so clever. Oh my God.
And you were saying about the practical, there's another practical, because you will get to see if there's a gap, and you will get to see where the gap is, if it's on your imagination, your belief, or allowance. I will tell you, there's one of those that leads. There's one of those that means that if the others aren't there, it doesn't really matter, as long as that one thing is there. But I'm not going to tell you what that is, because that would be revealing too much.
We need to give you a reason to attend the talk. Absolutely. Knowing all that, so basically it's for us, the word fix doesn't suit here, but in terms, we would align this number or this measurement to its optimum performance, so we can manifest easily whenever we want.
Yes, absolutely. And you will get to see, as I said, with the gap. So the practical application would be like, say the thing that you wanted to manifest, where it was shortfall from the thing that you manifested before by a couple of numbers, just say that, then you would just ask yourself, like, well, what one thing can I do that takes it up to, say it was at 7 and it needed to be an 8, even if it was just a one number gap. So you'd be like, well, what is the one thing I can do that takes it from a 7 to an 8? And that would be the practical application. But of course, you and I just spoke about the tarot feelie, and it doesn't sound very practical. But actually, that would really fit in really well with making sure that that answer is coming from your higher self, which is tarot feelie is another exercise that I do. So actually, that would be a great time to do a tarot feelie.
So what can we do, some practical application right now on this particular video that people can do on everyday basis? And I will share my talk at the event is how to create your unique 90-day abundance plan. And this is what I'm living through myself now, and learning new technique, coming across new ways how to live and how to create my own plan for my taking myself to a new level of abundance. So that's why I asked Tiffany to come up with some sort of exercise that I can use myself, and I will report on the results in October.
Okay. I think what we could do is just think about that thing we really want to manifest and why we feel like it's part of our purpose, why we feel driven, why we feel the desire, because the desire is such a key element to manifesting, as I'm sure you know. Whether you guys that are watching this, whether you have tarot or not, or oracle cards, or not, it doesn't matter. But if you have tarot or you have oracle, you can absolutely join in now. And if you don't, you can still join in. And I will take us through a little 2-minute meditation. And in that, I will talk to you about how you can join in if you don't have tarot either. So basically, all of you just need to get ready to do a 2-minute meditation. Okay? Whether you have tarot, oracle or not.
I'm using oracle cards. Tiffany's doing with tarot cards, and Tiffany also guides us through if we don't have cards at all.
Absolutely. Okay. Those of you that do have cards, I want you to take one and not look at it and place it between your hands in prayer. Those of you that don't have cards, that's totally fine. I just want you to tune into this card here by just using your intention. That's all. Okay. So just close your eyes. Everyone, just close your eyes. Whether you have a card between your hands or not, I want you to let go of the need to know what it is. And I want you to let go of trying to get anything. This is not a trick. It's not a parlor game. It's a meditation. It's time for you to relax and receive. And to do that, you just tune into the energy between your hands. And I want you to allow that energy to pour into your being. You can imagine a long lost friend stood at your door after lockdown and how you just open your arms and welcome them in. It's the same thing that you're doing here. So just allow it to fill you up from your hands all the way up through your arms into your being. Let it fill your whole being so you're vibrating at the same energy as the energy in your hands. As you breathe in and as you breathe out, you're radiating that vibration. So just sit with that for a couple of moments, breathing in and out this vibration, becoming one. tuning into anything that you feel, any changes in your physical, mental, or emotional bodies. And anything you see as well. Don't edit or interpret, just allow it. Any colours, any scenery of anything or nothing, even nothing is something. So just allow it as it is. Don't be tempted to not allow it or judge it. Just let it be. And even if you're in that place of seeing cards because you know the cards and you're thinking, oh, it feels like this card, allow that as well. Just don't make it the need to be the card. Just allow it in. And the most important part of this exercise is to send your thoughts up. So you're going to send your thoughts up and just say, how do I allow in that desire that I'm feeling coming from the universe? How do I allow it in? For the highest good of me, everyone involved, and the highest good of all. I'm open to receive that message now. And breathe it in. It may come through a feeling or vision, or you may hear or have a thought. And when you have that, just really breathe it in so you're vibrating at that message because it's from your higher self. So you want to be lifting your vibration up to embody that ascension level now. Just really welcome it in. And give gratitude to the universe and your guides. And come back round. Have a little stretch. Maybe screw your face up. Oh. Okay. So, Inga, what message and card, what happened for you?
It's bizarre. I tried to, like, the message came in and it seemed like so illogical. And I tried to push it away, like, it cannot, like, you cannot be serious about this, right? Like, but it insisted. So the message came out of the blue to learn Portuguese.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly my reaction. And I kind of I was shown that in 2 years' time I may consider relocating there. Finally, haven't planned, but this will be our reference point in 2 years' time, right? So, and it's very, very interesting. So, and the cards that I got is Ancient Oak Spirit Strength.
Okay. Ancient Oak Spirit Strength. So I guess that correlates with the Strength card in
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Strength card in the tarot does, in terms of the IBA index, it would resonate with the B word. So I will reveal what the B word is, which I've already revealed anyway, which is
Belief.
belief. Yes.
Yeah.
So if you had a belief that you could absolutely just click your fingers and relocate anywhere,
It would be Portugal for sure.
it
Yes.
would be. Okay. There we go.
So,
Right. Okay.
what about you?
I felt so much heat, and it is really hot today, but I really felt the heat in my hands.
I felt the heat too, as well.
Right. And you might think, well, energy builds in your hands. Aren't you always going to feel heat? No, sometimes it's like you feel cold, in your hands. It's like ice cold. But I really felt the heat. So then my mind went to, the sun. This feels like the sun card, especially as you see, this is when you know a lot about your cards, all of that happens. So I've learned to just invite it in. It's part of how my guides speak to me, but not need to make it that it is the sun card, for instance. So then I saw the traditional sun card in a Rider-Waite Smith deck, which is there's a brick wall in that, and I didn't see the rest of it. I just saw the brick wall, and it was really red brick, and it was just kept building and building and building in the heat. I felt like I was a bricklayer slogging away in the heat, and I was like, oh, this now feels like 10 of Wands, because that's very 10 of Wands energy in the tarot. And so then I asked for the message, and the message was, because remember we were asking, how do we allow the desire in? How do we allow it to manifest? And it was just let go. It was like, again, quite illogical. Because it was like it was telling me to stop building the wall. In fact, probably even bulldoze it, so again, it felt quite illogical. And the card I've got is the Magician.
Wow.
Yes, from the Muse deck. And I guess the Magician doesn't do that, does he? He's not a bricklayer at all. He goes higher than that and just allows it in. And that was really actually the whole background feeling I got, because before I got into a lot of the slog of building a business, my best manifestations by far were when I was in this energy of there being nothing really to build, but just being led or guided. And so in a way, it's felt harder as business has gone on than being at that very start of the journey, because the Magician is number one, which means he's at the very start of the journey. And so somehow gotta not lose that along the way and help find the way for it to work together, to leave enough room for magic to happen.
But I guess so, even for people who don't know cards well, right, who don't know interpretation of tarot cards or oracle cards, it doesn't need to be connected with the card. It's just what's the message you are getting, and maybe the insight behind the visions that you are getting, right?
Yeah. Interestingly enough, this ties in a little bit of what I was just saying about, like, when you get to know things, it can be a block, and that's one of the things I find about tarot or oracle cards is actually the more you know, the more you can block it, the more judgments you have, and the harder it is for your own intuition to be heard, which is exactly why we do this exercise. Because say we were just talking beforehand about the Five of Pentacles, which, if you know the tarot, you're probably going, oh, the Five of Pentacles. But if you don't know the tarot, if you saw the Five of Pentacles in a reading, you'd be probably in a lot of fear about your security, your material ability, and it wouldn't be that empowering. But there was a time that I was getting the Five of Pentacles a lot in the Tarot Fili. So obviously I didn't know I had it at the time. And the message was always something to do with knowing your own worth. So it's a far more empowering way to read, because you can just come out of the judgment that you have when you see something and be really in tune with your tuition, which is tuition within, rather than what I call out-tuition, which is losing yourself outside of yourself, in a card, a person, or a situation. So the intuition is what the tarot feely, is what I call the instant hotline to your higher self. And it's a way that you can make sure that you're getting the message from your higher self that is empowering and is abundant, rather than coming from the judgment or the fear side, or looking at that book in that booklet thinking that your wisdom is in that booklet. That's not where your wisdom is found. Yeah, and when we say it like that, it's quite, oh yeah, aha moment.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you, Tiffany.
you're
I can't
welcome.
wait till getting to know more about this IBA index, and to experience all the magics that you will be leading us through.
Thank you, Inga. I really appreciate it. I love connecting with you. You're an amazing, amazing coach that really digs in and gets the magic coming up for people. So no wonder I got the magician.
So thank you everyone for watching, and I expect to see you at the event.
Yay! Yes, can't wait to see you all.